Cool. So, in previous explanations of using email, you've kind of broken it down for me in two types of email, and we kind of
Right.
did before the webinar. You guys all answered kind of a quick question about what kind of email service you're using, and they kind of break down into the two types of email. You can see we got close to 20 people using like a MailChimp, Constant Contact, Active Campaign. And then most other people are using Gmail, Outlook, CRM, email. And then there's kind of an other chunk of people who are, they're using some black magic to get that email out. But uh, how would you break those down? How would you break down the two email strategies that you were talking about?
Yeah. So basically, what I would generally describe is that you have emails that are going to be what I would call your your sales style emails, your more transactional style emails. These are going to be the emails that you're having more one-on-one, more direct with people. There may be some level of automation that goes into this, but really the email that goes out is designed to be timely with what somebody else has done, right? So those types of emails are going to be the sort of things that you'll find that you send in like your CRM. When somebody is looking to buy a house, they come into your world because they called off a sign call, or they became a lead through a landing page or something like that, where you have some context about them. Generally, you're going to send like a series of emails that are really designed to hit them directly, right? Where it's like, hey, so glad you inquired about this home. What questions can I answer? Or maybe here's a few resources that might be useful to you. And they're very relevant to the context that person came in. So that's kind of one type of email. And what I find mentally is that it's very good to think about those emails in one system, and to have that system kind of be self-contained, so that you know that that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
The second type of email is the emails that really you send to everybody, right? Where you're not going to necessarily send, and we'll talk a little bit about why. It's not going to make sense for you to share every open house and every listing and everything that you have going on that's real estate specific with everybody on your list, because that's not relevant to everybody. If somebody isn't looking to buy a house, they don't care about your listings, right? And so the secondary type of email is the type that you send to everybody, right? Like the emails that no matter where somebody is in the market, no matter what's going on in their life, that you can send to them something that keeps you top of mind, but allows you to, reach out to a large amount of people. So your mass emails, or your broadcast style emails. And generally, for sake of making sure that you kind of know what you're doing and that you're not accidentally burning your list, I like to keep those separate, right? I like to have my system where I know when I'm in this system, when I'm in this world, what I'm doing here is I'm communicating with people essentially one-on-one. Now, again, that's a little bit loose, because you can go a little bit more than one-on-one in a lot of these, but the idea is that it's contextual.
Yeah.
And then the other system is where you send your newsletter or your general updates, the things that are safe and good to go out to everybody: friends, family, past clients, current buyers, current sellers. No matter what somebody's context is, the kind of information that can go out to everybody. So those are the two types of emails. So broadcast versus, I'd call them transactional. That might not be the right word in the real estate world. But your sales or transactional emails compared to your broadcast emails.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. It's like when Amazon sends you, hey, you were looking at, this specific
Right.
product, and they just keep hammering with you with that. And you're like, actually, I'm not even interested in that product anymore. How do I get off this list? You would
Right.
rather just
Right.
Amazon send you like, hey, these are, 10 sweet tech gadgets that people are really into. Like, oh, okay, I'll check that out.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to unsubscribe from that. But, you keep telling me
Exactly.
about the Kindle Fire until I'm blue in the face. I'm going to get out of here.
It's even more important when it comes to the real estate world, because theoretically, if I have shown interest in buying the Kindle, right,
Yeah.
like there's actually a decent expectation that Amazon could have in saying that talking to me about that might be worthwhile, because like that's not the kind of buying behavior that necessarily changes super quickly. But the
Yeah.
reality is, most people don't actively seek out real estate information unless they are in the market for a transaction.
Right.
And so if all you're sending out is real estate information, you're gonna be turning people off. You're just training them to ignore you.
Yeah. Yeah. Over time, they'll just be like, okay, yeah, I've seen enough houses. I'll come back to you later on. And then,
Right.
later on, they'll be like, I don't even remember who that guy was. I unsubscribed a long time ago.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So people do need to be sending out both the transactional emails. So that is really important, sending those out through your CRM, through Gmail, doing that personally, sending out personal
Right.
bombs to people as they come in as leads.
Absolutely.
And then also you need to be building that relationship, the long-term, here am I, here's my personal brand. This is what I know about my community. Here's all the great restaurants that you'll be moving next to when you buy a house from me. All that kind of stuff.
Right. And part of the big reason why that's such an important aspect. So people get really focused on the right now business, the things that they got right in front of their face, which you have to be to a degree. But people lose sight of the wealth that's available in just the everyday relationships that you have, the relationships that you've created and developed. And if you can nurture those correctly, they pay off fantastically. For instance, NAR did a survey of real estate clients where they found that I forget what it is. It's like 80 to 90% of people say that they would work with their agent again in the future, right?
Yeah.
But what actually ends up happening is about only 10% of people actually do, right? And the reason for that isn't, I don't think, because this is at the end of a transaction, so everything's already happened, the relationship's already developed. The reason why people don't end up working with their agent again is largely because they stopped hearing from their agent, or they stopped wanting to hear from their agent because their agent had nothing relevant to say after they were done with the transaction, right? And so that's part of where this comes into play, is to realize, like, people want to do business with you. We just got to make sure to give them the information that long term will actually keep them entertained, keep them engaged, so that they remember you, so that they're trained to pay attention to who you are.